Coming up on Talk is Cheap, we have the Hessdalen Lights, a phenomenon that's been going on since the early part of the century, and we've had tons of footage on it since the 1980s. UFO sightings or science explained? Find out on Talk is Cheap. This is where talk is cheap, and cheap is a synonym for crap. Today we have the Hessdalen Lights. This was submitted by a viewer, Stefan Hansen, and a lot of you probably have heard of this before. It's been an ongoing topic, got very popular in the 80s, but we'll be discussing that today. So on my left here, would it be left or is it right? Viewer's right. It's Dan Hohlfeld.
Yep. I always get confused like left and right, and we had that trouble earlier when I was setting the camera up for you.
Yeah, it's a you know,
pain in
from
the
the viewer's perspective, that's what we have to remember. Then the snack accident. We have
happy to be here.
We have Dale Westaby.
When you eat all those bacon by mistake.
Yeah.
Got this for $5.
Yeah, that's good. And you were also talking about some crystals that you were purchasing for.
Yeah, I've been purchasing a lot of crystals that have high energy on eBay and some other sale pages.
Getting some good deals on them, correct? Oh, yeah. And so, yeah, that'll actually kind of come up. It's a coincidence that will come up in today's discussion.
But you don't meditate with those?
I do not meditate, no.
You're missing out.
I have to get more crystals.
I've done just a little bit of meditation and just a little bit, but I think I've made a little bit of progress too, and it's good.
I do an hour every day, every morning. It's like, once you get to that point, because it takes me like 45 minutes, once you hit that time period, then it's just, your mind shuts off and you go like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have, well, that's another discussion, But yeah, so we have the Hessdalen Lights. Hessdalen is a small town located in Norway. I guess it's north of Oslo. I forget how far. I think around 250. I suppose they're going with kilometers north of Oslo, if I'm correct. I may be way off. It's in Norway though. Here on the screen we have an image of the Hessdalen Lights, and there's plenty of these images available. Footage, images. It's been recorded since the 80s.
Wow.
Very popular. I mean, sometimes they're saying 15 to 20 sightings a week they've had.
That's amazing. And is this a rainbow-esque thing, part of it?
This is, I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, that's probably just their meter on there.
Yeah. Could be
a spectral meter.
Yeah. And yeah, that's likely that's a spectral meter. And then this is just one flight pattern of these lights, and they're
okay. That's what I was going to ask. That's the tail of it. That's just staying in the sky.
Yes, but sporadic, and you'll see. And in fact, I'm going to let a video on YouTube do more of the introduction for me. They can do a better job than I can. But in this video, we have a Project Hessdalen member, and so he's actually going to be talking and introducing what the lights are.
Bring it.
A full screen of that.
It has been photographs, it has been recorded on videotapes, so there is no doubt that there is.
And he's an expert on this.
Yeah, he's been
there. Something going on
there for some amount of time.
A lot of the time, it's pretty easy to dismiss UFOs. A hoax by film students here, a web.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to comment on that. And we all need to keep in mind that there are hoaxes. You know, look, everyone thought that was a UFO, but just some film students, you know,
had a balloon that
had a balloon.
Took off the tip.
Yeah, as simple as that.
Balloon there. There is one example though. The Hessdalen Lights in Norway are a phenomenon so frequently seen, tracked, videoed and photographed that no one, governments and universities included, can turn a blind eye. They've been radar tracked at 30,000 kilometers an hour, and they appear in the exact same valley several times a year for anyone to go and enjoy.
Damn.
Oh, and no one knows what they actually are. The lights have been reported in Norway's central Hessdalen Valley as far back as the 19th.
So I'm going to pause real quick, but it's important that we remember the geography of this valley. Now, there's a river running through that, and they're calling these mountains in my other source, but there's definitely some vertical space between, the line of sight between these two mountains and this river separating them.
1940s, but really came to light, so to speak, from 1981. Over a period of several years, the lights were seen an astonishing 15 to 20 times every week, causing thousands of tourists to flock to the area and camp out to witness the phenomenon. So seriously was it taken that a research centre was even set up and permanently manned.
And to get behind them.
Yeah, that's it. There is a, and I'll have to refresh, but there is, I believe, Brian Dunning from Skeptoid. He addresses that issue and talks about, the angles from which you can see them, but they are visible in this valley.
Project Hessdalen was initiated by Swedish and Norwegian UFO groups, but its research is now continued by various academic institutions, which in 2007 took this astonishing video.
Å, fy fader! Jeg filmer det! Jeg har det på tape! Jeg har det her! Å, dæven!
Hva sier du?
And so that is brief background of what's going on. And that original picture I showed, it had one flight pattern. In this video that was taken by students, a completely different light pattern. And so that's what's interesting. There's not one format that these lights seem to follow. It's just it's very sporadic. There's only a few hundred people in this town, and they don't seem too concerned. But every now and then they say that these lights are coming towards our house. And so, but again, no rhyme or reason to how these lights are acting or why they're, flying or whatever the word is, but the patterns of flight, why they are. And so there's a few different alternate theories that's going on with these lights. One that I'm not too familiar with the science behind is unexplained combustion between, let's see, if I go to the source here, Inquisitor, it talks more about this theory. Unexplained combustion processes involving sodium, oxygen, hydrogen, and then there's deposits of scandium in the area. Again, chemistry that I am not aware of. The second theory is plasma from ionized gases, and out of everything I've read, this seems possible. Basically, this river that runs through these two mountains is having sulfur leached from an upstream mine, and this essentially these mountains and the river are acting as a battery. And there is on the Daily Mail, on that source, there's quite a bit of science behind that. We'll get into that. Another theory is crystal electricity, that there is in the river, there is tiny crystal fragments, and when the river freezes, it's mechanically squeezing these crystals, which is inducing a voltage on these crystals. But that is kind of disproved because these crystals are a little bit frail and they're breaking, and we're only talking micro voltages, not something that's going to cause any sort of reaction that is going to light up the sky with anything that's going to come
I'm
up
not
in the
convinced
sky.
yet. This is still the same old bullshit talking points that the government throws at us.
And then, of course, you've heard this one, I guess, airport lighting. So that you may have heard that from the government before, but that's just simply aircraft.
It's interesting to see so much variety. Like in some of those sample videos, you had the lights doing different things, just appearing, reappearing. As you can see in that article there, it says it comes in different colors: yellow, red, bright white.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing. So if we go, I kind of created a pros and cons, and I guess the strongest thing going for these lights is, and the thing is, people are saying these are UFOs. They are UFOs, 100%. UFO enthusiasts are saying that, of course. But these lights have been reported as early as the 30s, in the 80s. Wow. 81 specifically got very popular. And to this day, there is no solid explanation. So scientists have looked at this, as you know, in that video it mentions Norway, and initially, I forget who, but there was an observatory built to watch these lights. Now it's kept up by Norwegian universities and other students and other professors and stuff, but still no explanation yet.
You would think that you would try to, like, it seems like some of these lights last for a while when they do happen.
Yeah.
You think, like, get a drone up there, try to do a collision course.
They have some document. They have some information on how these lights are reacting, and they're not hot. They are not leaving scorch marks. They're not doing anything. But what they kill microbes, and so not being hot, being cool to the touch, and killing like microbes. Now that's a property of plasma, and so that there is some leaning toward this plasma theory, but again, some more pros. There's tons of real footage. There's tons of it. And as I'll continue on later in this YouTube video, and we'll watch it. But this what was his name? Erling Stader, I believe his name was. He is convinced it's not a hoax. He says whatever it is, we don't know, but it's not a hoax. It's not people with balloons. It's not film students. It's something. We don't know what it is. And then now you have Norwegian military also claiming they've seen something. So this is not a story of military suppressing lights. This is a story. We have military pilots saying, I saw something.
And they don't know what it is.
They don't know what it is.
Just scroll back up to that photo quick. So one thing I do want to mention.
They might not be personally being disclosed with what it is.
Let's see, this image here, that first image.
Yeah. The one thing I will say that's not a typical UFO. They wouldn't leave a trail like that.
It's a time-lapse photo?
Yeah, is this a time-lapse?
With the color of the sky.
I didn't know. I just found this as, a nice little pretty picture to look at for the
I guess I
introduction.
kind of assued that it's just left that in the sky, but...
Yeah, I didn't know. Well, I think...
But then we did watch that video, and that's a typical, UFO sighting.
Mm-hmm.
See the multiplication like that.
Yeah. And, yeah, so...
I can't even think of debunking it because you don't have enough information, and it's pretty credible.
At this point, it's probably going to be the most credible UFO sighting you're going to come across, because you got people working on this, scientists working on this for years,
and it keeps happening.
Keeps happening.
You don't see that with UFO sightings, with the one location.
But now there are some cons, and so I want to go over that. If we go to Daily Mail. This website will describe it better than me, but basically this river is forming a natural battery. On one side of the mountain, or one side of the valley, it says these rocks are rich in zinc and iron. On the other side, rich in copper. The sulfur in the river is acting as a conductor between the two, and when you hook something up to it, you're gonna get a potential difference. So, and if we look right here, this Jason Minari found that electricity flowed between the two rocks, and that could light his lamp. And so he did a sample of this valley, and he was able to make electricity run through it.
Oh, he was?
Yes.
But did it make like balls?
Well, now he was able to make electricity, so we know electricity is running through it. Mm. If we have sulfur that is being released from the river, and a sulfuric gas, and plasma, which is it's an ionized gas, and so if you have enough energy, you can turn gas into plasma. And with what they have, it's possible. With what they have at this river, just the natural geography of it, that can happen. Now, you have, once you're past the river, you have one mountain and another mountain, both with metal in it. And because of that, you have electric field lines that are going across. And that can be, that they're saying these electric field lines are causing some of the sporadic movement with this plasma.
This makes sense to me, because although he says, or they say that you're not getting a lot of volts, you got to think of the reasoning of stacking batteries to amplify volts. Mm-hmm. So if I had 109 volt batteries,
right.
I'm going to get a ton of voltage. And same thing with that giant valley. That giant valley as a whole is creating a ton of energy. And if it's a big bowl, it could be peaking its energy in a centralized point where those lights are happening.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And in this website, and so I encourage viewers to just search for, I of course went both ways, but I typed in Hessdalen Lights fake, and that's where I typed real as well, but that's where this Daily Mail website came
Good
up.
search.
And you're gonna see some fairly good science behind this. Then my other concern, which is, it's not so much of a con, the more I researched it, is I was on Skeptoid, and Brian Dunning, he's a very popular skeptic, and he's very credible. If he does make a mistake, he will go back and, fix it, basically. But he is saying that there could be a much simpler explanation. One, in the early 80s, there was an airport that was about 40 miles away from this location that became the most popular airport in the 80s. Okay. 2, the early 80s was when this observatory was built. In a few episodes back, we had mentioned with the museum, you're going to see what you want to see. So you have scientists out there looking for this stuff, but there's
The videos.
There's a ton of footage at the same time. Exactly. The Daily Mail now says that they do disprove airport lights. That was quickly disproved. This Brian Dunning said, as far as he knows, they've not disproved anything. But apparently they have. And so I guess my question is, what do you guys think? This is more footage than you probably have seen before.
Could this plasma reaction be synthesized
In another experiment?
Yeah, in this valley? So say like these plasma gases are being ignited somehow through voltage.
Mm-hmm.
Could someone be out there creating this voltage to make it happen more often?
Oh yeah, just for fun.
Like,
just stick something in the water.
Yeah. If it's in the air and all it needs is the right charge, can someone be
Not, as far as I know, not without making a splash. It takes a ton of energy to take gas and turn it into plasma. And so if someone's doing this, I don't see how it can be done discreetly.
I think there is plasma UFO beings too, though, so you can't discredit that idea.
That could be an
So
entity.
not just-
It could be a
a living entity.
Yeah, a
But
living entity.
The fact that you said does it happen at the same time every year or just same season?
It's most occurring in the winter months.
And that's very interesting because you'd think that would be more void of life.
As far as the science is concerned, on the Daily Mail, they're thinking wind on the mountainside is creating static electricity, and in the winter, air is drier. Static electricity is more common.
Right.
They glow for so long,
I
though.
don't think I can buy
Like
that idea.
a discharge of electricity, the lightning is there and done.
I just can't see something like coming from water into the air and
if you watch some of that footage, it looks so organized, like the way the lights move.
That's true.
That original footage where the students captured that, I think it was in 2007, where they just started appearing.
Wow.
That was
good one.
Well, yeah, I guess it just kind of depends on what you think.
So you're leaning more towards skeptical.
I'm leaning towards
not being real.
I think there could be some science.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make anything definitive. One thing that I want to say at the end of this video, where are we? Yeah, I think it's at 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
There is no doubt that there is something going on up there. If someone at this location could put up some instruments to see if we got the same readings as we do, or other readings also, of course. I think it's very important to get data.
So here we have.
This guy is unconvinced, but he's sure that it's not just people out there making these. There's something going on. it's unexplained. It has been for decades. Is there some science that could explain this? There's definitely theories out there that, like I said, they were able to conduct electricity through a model of this.
Well, yeah, you could.
Geography.
The other thing is, just because you can recreate something doesn't mean that that's what it is either. So
No, that's definitely true.
If I think the best way to prove or disprove it is if plasma is this gas you can capture, you can go up there and at least be able to like scoop with a drone and scoop up some of that air around that area and analyze it.
The problem is it's that whether it's UFO or plasma, if it's plasma, the electrical fields between the two hillsides are causing it to be so sporadic that you're not going to, it'll be, a needle in a haystack to be in the same place at the same time with it. Two, if it's a UFO,
you're not going to scoop that up.
it was a UFO, but it just
interesting.
disappear at that time. I'm kind of leaning more towards something's going on, but I don't buy the electricity thing.
That's not enough.
I think it might. I think that
I just can't see that.
All the energy as a whole, and then if you have the right point of where the energy's releasing, it could cross points and concentrate an orb of plasma, and then it'll expel.
And that entire time, it's just generating a charge waiting to discharge, and then if conditions are right, bam.
But the way they're discharging is not really like
sporadic.
Yeah.
Which there are electric field lines between those two mountainsides. That is a fact. And so basically, it's like these lines that are, they're going to interact with anything electrical that crosses them. That's why scientists are saying you're seeing random movements.
There's all kinds of chemical, electrical discharges in the air that, it took, like sprites, for example. Sprites are electrical discharges in the sky that it took them 20 years to explain.
Yeah. I don't know. I got to do some more thinking on this one, I think. Look into it a little more, but
a good topic.
It's definitely interesting, that's for sure.
It's, unlike other, and there was, I believe, the Min lights, and there's a few that have been disproved, but
we got the Paulding light up upper UP, Michigan. I'm going to go investigate that.
Okay. Well, that, all sorts, but the footage on this one is what's going on. And we have scientists on this one looking at it. This isn't just
for decades.
For decades, not just some backdoor, backyard film crew.
Right.
Awesome.
So thank you for joining us on Talk is Cheap. We have Dale on the end and Dan next to me. We'd like to thank our viewer, Stefan Hansen, for suggesting this topic. It's definitely a doozy. It's got scientists baffled and has had for some time. But again, watch our future videos and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, you're watching Talk is Cheap on the K2D4 network, and that's it.